Hello everyone, welcome to a Hero Cantare video. Today we're gonna talk about this banner a bit, because I I hmm, feel like I was being biased with my thumbnail on Ilpyo. Because obviously based on that thumbnail, you guys can tell I like Ilpyo a lot as a character, but I didn't really. I mean, I did go over his skills, but I didn't really notice his stats too much when I was going over this character yesterday. Well, not yesterday; it was like 2 days ago. But on that, my most recent video, previous video, I made a video about him. I did go over him in the Neighbor Cafe, and I was like, he's insanely good, blah 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 blah. And then I went over and over about his his explosive abilities with his burn effects. But then after I made the video, I realized that his kit is pretty specific, which doesn't make this unit like the best unit, because specific kits are, well, if you do have the specific team for this unit, I feel like he's gonna be really really good. But if you don't, and if you are a beginner, I wouldn't really recommend to pull this unit. Same goes for Viole. Well, actually, maybe not Viole. Maybe Viole is pretty fine, but for Ilpyo, I don't know. His kid, I mean, well, honestly, I went through the comment section and someone told me that his HP and defense was low, and then I realized how his kid is very specific, and really, it's not the best thing in the world. So yeah, let's just go over this character really quickly again. Okay, so before we talk about Ilpyo, I think it's fair that we go over Viole, because he's in the same banner. So the question is this unit worth summoning for? Yes, Viole is really good. I really don't see the downside of having this unit at all. His element is ice, so it's not you don't need chaos shards for this unit, which is always a yay for everyone. But his kit on removing buffs on the enemy, all buffs on the enemy, and also disabling them from having any further buffs in the future. Not in the future. It only lasts for one turn, but it's still good. The fact that he removed all buffs in the first place is a good thing. And his not chain 2, his passive 2 is not really specific compared to Ilpyo. It really depends on whether you have a debuff on him or not, and he takes advantage of both. So if he has a debuff, he gets a barrier. He removes that debuff first, and then he gets a barrier and he heals himself. If this unit doesn't have a debuff, he gets a attack boost and a critical hit damage boost. So very expendable, and I think this unit is probably worth summoning for. But moving on to Ilpyo. Alright, so before we get into the video, I just want to note that my guild is still recruiting. There's a few people who've requested to join. I didn't accept them because there were people who were saving their spots but still haven't provided me with their IGN, and I wanted to be fair for them. I did ask them for their IGN, but they haven't responded yet. So yeah, so that's a goner, honestly. It's gonna be first come first serve from now. Go to the Discord server, go to saving spots, and provide me with your IGN, and then I'll accept you. And there's going to be more spots available in the future, because there's a few people who doesn't really do anything in the guild. I know it's a casual guild, but I do have some sort of expectations. Do try to provide the guild with your donation. It's not really for me, it's for the entire guild, and it's for you as well. I am trying to get the skill materials buff to level 5, so we get more skill materials, so you guys don't have to request in the resource exchange every time. And I am I do purchase these gold and level up materials buff for you guys as well. So as much as this is casual, I do have some sort of expectations that you do have to be active into the guild. If you don't do anything, then I'll probably have to kick you, so do take note of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just continue with the video. Okay, so let's go over Ilpyo, but let's just let me just answer this question first. Is Ilpyo worth summoning for?
Honestly,
It depends. I don't think he's a bad unit, but his kit is very specific, which makes this unit, you know, in a very tough spot to the, you know, in terms of usage. So I do think you do need at least one unit, one side unit in your team that provides the burn effect in order for him to take advantage of it. And I think his passive 2 ability is very specific as well. So if he has a debuff, he gets, you know, the 20% HP barrier, and that's pretty simple. But he also has the ability to revive, but he has to have a burn debuff on him, I think. I'm pretty sure. If the hero is eliminated with a burning, yeah. He resurrects once, and he's invincible for 1 turn, and this only activates once as well, which is pretty fair. But yeah, his kit is very specific. So if you don't have the specific units to back this unit up, I would probably not recommend you guys to summon for him. If you do, then sure, but honestly, I would put Viole above Ilpyo as a unit to, you know, as a more of a essential unit to go for on that banner. I wouldn't worry about pulling for Ilpyo so much. Honestly, I feel like Ilpyo is kind of like how kind of like Sarah's. You do need the specific bleed effect builds for them to excel, and you get more advantages if you have Rascrea and her relic. And you know, if you have all those, you know, 3 units, Sarah, clan leader Sarah, and Rascrea, they, you know, they do well. But for now in the global server, since, you know, Prom King Huma isn't here, the fire team, the mono fire team is probably not the best choice right now. So yeah, honestly, for now, I don't think he's essential. He's definitely not essential, guys. He's not an essential. I think he's a pretty good unit if you do have the right specific team, but for now in global, yeah, probably, yeah, I would not suggest you guys to pull for this unit, because honestly, like, you know, maybe, you know, probably most of you guys are, you know, sick of hearing people, I want Prom King Huma, and like, you know, people like simping on that character, but like, she is going to change the fuck out of the meta. Like, trust me, that character is insane. So, well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go over that character, but to sum up, Ilpyo, he's not essential. He's a good unit if you have the right build, and if you have the right units to back him up. But if you don't, I would not recommend you guys to pull for this unit. But yeah, moving on to Prom King Huma. Okay, so, yeah, you guys should probably save your gems for this unit. That's at least what I'm doing. If you really want Viole, that's fine. He's still a great unit as well. But if you really don't care for Ilpyo or Viole, then I would probably just save for Prom King Huma, and we'll go over Prom King Huma right now. So her chain 1, 130% damage to 1 enemy and heals 50% of the total damage dealt. If the enemy has a debuff, deals extra damage based on 15% of their current HP. We'll return to chain 1 in a bit when we're going over the passive 1 skill. Chain 2 attacks all enemies, reducing their current HP by 30% and taunts them with the 60% probability each unit. Also 120% damage dealt to 1 enemy with the highest attack. So yeah, this is what you guys are going to use most of the time. Honestly, don't worry about chain 1 too much. For chain 2, it just does so much damage and it taunts them, and she takes advantage of the taunt, which makes this unit very powerful. Unlike Yuri, she also has a AoE taunt skill, you know, but you know, she doesn't really take advantage of that too much other than the damage side. Well, she does a lot of damage, but when she taunts the enemy, well, not really. If you do have her passive 2 ability, I guess you don't have to worry about it too much. But after that, she's probably going to die. So, yeah. But this unit takes advantage of the taunt, the AoE taunt, which is always great. So, very good for PvP. Chain 3, and oh, she also does the 120% damage dealt to one enemy with the highest attack, and that's a massive damage, so there you go. Chain 3 deals 115% damage to all enemies and absorbs allies debuffs up to 5, then removes all debuffs and does extra damage to one enemy based on the numbers of debuff removed. 40% damage each debuff and has no maximum, so kind of similar to, well, kind of similar to how Ilpyo's Chain 3 works. But then again, like most of the really good units, you guys won't be using her Chain 3 ability too much, honestly, especially when you're pairing her up with Hwaryeon, which is usually the PvP build in Korea. I don't think you'll have to worry about this too much. But yeah, moving on. Passive 1. Attack is increased by 10%. HP is increased by 15%. Counter chance is increased by 15%. So let's go back to Chain 1. So if you guys don't know, your counter ability is always going to be your Chain 1. And if you guys do remember, she's going to do 130% damage to one enemy and heals 50% of the total damage dealt. And if they have a debuff, she deals extra damage based on 50%. And this is why the burn team also, she also takes advantage of, debuff teams. So that's why people bring GK0, I think, because, she obviously provides a lot of burn effects. So there you go. And then moving on, she's also invincible for 1 turn when the battle begins. I don't know why there's an X there. But yeah, passive 2, if hit more than 20% of her HP, heals back 20% of her maximum HP. So yeah, she heals a lot. Whenever she attacks or gets hit, she increases her attack by 10%, maximum of 50%, and increases her defense by 20%, maximum of 100%. So this unit is basically Kaiser with a taunt AoE, and she also gets an attack boost, and she heals. So I mean, obviously she's probably, well, I'm not too sure if she's as tanky as Kaiser, because Kaiser's pretty damn tanky, but yeah, she's a pretty solid unit. So, well, not solid, she's an amazing unit, I feel like. So yeah, I'm saving for her definitely, because I don't really need Viole or Ilpyo for now, and even if I do pull them, I don't really have the resources or the materials to level them up anyways. So I'm going to save for Prime King Huma for now, and that's probably what I would recommend for you guys as well, because she's really good, and I think she's really worth saving for. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did find this video helpful, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and bye bye.